Hello, everybody. My name is Alexander Orywall. This is my spring 2024 final presentation. And for my internship, I was a team manager for the UMSL women's basketball team. All right, so let's take a closer look what the UMSL women's basketball team is. It is one of 19 teams of UMSL athletics. It is part of the GLVC, that is the Great Lakes Valley Conference in D2, NCAA D2. The head coach is Katie Vaughn, and the associated coach is Coach Samuelson. Coach Samuelson was my direct supervisor. She interviewed me, she hired me, but I, of course, also work close with Coach Vaughn. My role and duties. So my main role was to set up practices. That means I make sure all the needed equipment for practice is there. That means cones, balls, shot clock are all there, as well as making sure that all of the baskets are down and usable. Um, this I would make sure I'd be there before practice starts. That means if practice starts at 8:30, I would be there at like 8:10 and make sure everything is set up by at least 8:15, 8:20 at the latest. And then during practice, I would operate the shot clock. That means if they have a drill and they're playing offense, defense, or doing other things, I would just operate the shot clock so they can practice in-game situations. And then after practice, I of course make sure everything is back again where it's supposed to be. During game days, I also operate the shot clock. This time, at the scoring table and like during games. This would typically only be during home games, as away games, of course, have their own staff, or away teams have their own staff. Um, so after the game or during the games on away games, or for example, during the GLVC championship games, I would take stats, fill up water bottles, and after every home game, I would upload game footage to a website where all teams in GLVC upload their game footage so different teams can scout each other. That would be very easy. After the game, I would get this the game film sent from an email from Luke, who does all the stats and game operations during games. He would just send it to me, and I would just upload it. So the most it took was waiting for it to download and then uploading it again. Established goals I had for the internship. Doing good work. That was my main goal this year. I wanted to do such a good job that the basketball team wants me back next year. So, uh, season of 2025. My second goal was to never be late. As during my interview with the coaches, they had mentioned that previous managers were always very late and how important it would be for them that I wouldn't be late. So I wanted to make sure that I made a good impression, that this impression also lasted, that it's like, okay, you can depend on Alex. He's going to be there when he needs to be there. And my last goal for the internship was to do every task 100%. Uh, just to no matter what task or thing they gave me to do, that I would give it 100%, no matter what. So did I achieve my goals? Doing good work. I think I achieved this goal. I did a good job and was asked to come back. So I did achieve that goal. Never be late. I managed to achieve this goal too. I was not late once for a practice or a game. I was always on time. So I'm very proud of that. And then doing every task 100%, I have to be honest, that was a bit harder. Sometimes there are just days that aren't good. You're not really motivated. Something happens in class or something else is just bothering you. So I'd say I didn't do that 100%, 100% of the times. But I'd say like I was there 95%, probably even higher. There just was maybe sometimes like a day or two where it's just didn't feel good, and yeah, you could see it during my work. So in total, I'd say I did achieve my goals, and I'm very proud of that. Okay, so what I learned, I think one of the highlights of my role was mastering the art of operating the shot clock during home games. This hands-on experience not only elevated my game day responsibilities, but also fine-tuned my attention to detail and ability to thrive under pressure. Before this season, I've played basketball before in school, on like the team. However, I never played a lot. I played for one season during ninth grade, so it wasn't like a lot. Uh, and I not was not very familiar with basketball rules. So learning how to do the shot clock, and I didn't only do women's games, I sometimes did men games too, where the rules are different, not a lot, but still big enough difference that you notice it working the shot clock, and where you have to like press different things or set the time different at different times. So being able to do that and consistent and doing pretty well, and I'm not going to say I was perfect. I made some mistakes, 100%. But at the end, I felt very comfortable doing it. The first game, I was very nervous, very stressed out about it. But at the end, I felt very comfortable doing it, very confident, and I think I made a lot less mistakes. I think at the first game, maybe let the shot clock run out when I shouldn't have, wasn't paying attention. Um, but in the end, I think I did it pretty good. So that's what I learned the most. I think that's, yeah. And then some of my biggest takeaways from my internship was to be on time, be reliable, and be willing. Uh, as the manager of a basketball team, my job was not very hard. Um, I didn't have any like big tasks that I have to do, didn't have to solve any big problems. There was no really hard things that came to you. You just had to be on time, be reliable, and be willing to do the work. That means if we have practice at 8:30, that means you have to be there at 8:15, 8:10 to set up every Tuesday, every Thursday. Then we would have some late practices. We would have some practice on the weekends, sometimes during a holiday. Um, so it wasn't hard. You just had to be on time, be reliable, and be willing to do the work that was required of you. And I think I did that pretty well. As I said, I was asked to come back. So I believe as long as you do these things, you'll be fine in your internship. Um, the growth that I've personally had in my sport management career, again, I think you can look back on what I've learned. I was trusted to do the shot clock during games and was allowed to be part of the in-game crew and sit at the scorer's table. I didn't have any prior experience in any type of sport doing that. Um, and I was trusted to do that. I was deemed to be good enough to do it, and I did a decent enough job. They kept asking me to do it again and again. I learned from mistakes that I made sure not to do the same mistake twice. I have to say, I had a great person who sat next to me, Rick. He was the old tennis coach. He helped me out a lot. He was very experienced. So I don't want to say a mentor, but he helped me out a lot. Uh, and I think this was my biggest growth that I've had. Something I would tell my younger self is to don't worry. I tend to overthink a lot. I don't, it'll work out. I found this nice graphic here on the bottom right. Uh, do you have a problem? No, then don't worry. If you do, can you do something about it? If not, then don't worry. If you can, also don't worry. And I try to tell myself sometimes that, tell myself that, um, yeah, don't worry too much. You'll be fine. Uh, yeah. Then also do your work. During my freshman year, I tended not to do my homework. Looking back, I would tell myself to do. If I could, I would tell myself to do it. Uh, it's just hard. You know, when your grades slip, it's hard to catch up. Mine weren't too bad, but if I didn't do as much homework, if I did more homework, my grades would be better. That's what I'm trying to say. Then stay active. During high school, I would have practiced every day, like sports. During college, that's not the case. So I would make sure to stay active, do stuff, don't stay in your room all day. My advice for incoming students, get involved on campus. One of the first podcasts I listened to in sports management was um with was to it said it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I think that's still the case, you know. So go out there, get to know people, make connections. It'll help you later in your career, in your journey, get to know people. Then take your classes seriously. Once you fall behind, it's hard to catch up. Uh, I can attest to that. Uh, it hasn't been bad for me yet, but make sure you're on your classes, do your homework, turn in every assignment, all that. And then reach out to people if you need help. UMSL offers a bunch of resources that you can take advantage of. Most of them are free, so make sure to use them. If you need help, ask for it. My advice for current sport management students, don't say no to things right away. Sometimes things that you don't find very interesting can still help you learn. That was during my internship. Uh, not a lot of what I did was very repeating. And I think don't worry about it. You can still learn from stuff, even if it's not exciting all the time. Get involved. Also, what I said to current sport management student, get involved with the club / program, the sport management club. Dr. B shares a lot of opportunities. Use them. If it's going to Final Four appearances, Super Bowl, other type of things, there's a lot of stuff. Use them. And then do an internship. It gives you some real world experience and build your network. Uh, I worked in UMSL athletics, obviously, and I've met a lot of great people. And can only recommend. And then my advice about the sport management program and courses: do the work. A lot of things you have to do in class might seem like a lot of work, but it will benefit you in the long run. Uh, yeah, not much more to say to that. Be willing to take different kind of classes. I took a sport marketing management class, and I thought it was really cool. I'm not much into marketing, but I think that class really changed it. I thought it was very interesting. So be willing to take different kinds of classes and see what you can learn. And again, do an internship. It gives you some real world experience and builds your network. That's my biggest advice. Okay, so my conclusion, I learned a lot. I gained a lot of valuable information during this internship, and I would recommend others to do this too, if be it working for the UMSL women's basketball team or any type of different internship. I think you'll learn a lot. I built connections. That was very big, was a great and easy way to make connections with professional people at UMSL, and especially UMSL athletics. And I did such a good job and built such great connections that I was asked if I wanted to work more with UMSL athletics department as a whole instead of just the basketball program. So hard work pays off. Make sure you work hard, and I think it'll help you out in the future, and you'll get rewarded for good work. That's all. Thank you.